What's going on, boxer fans? Julian Williams here with The Distance. Post-fight video for Pascal versus Hopkins. Matchup ended in a majority draw. One scorecard had for Hopkins, but it was a very close fight. A couple swing rounds in there. Me personally, I had the fight. I actually had 8 rounds to 4 fight for Hopkins. I thought that Hopkins controlled the fight more so than Pascal, but at the same time you had a couple points taken off knockdowns in the rounds. I scored the knockdowns 10-8 because Pascal had some spurts in the fight to where he won some exchanges, and there's a couple swing rounds within the fight. But how I scored it, first round I did score for Pascal, but it was one of those rounds that could have gone either way. Pascal, Hopkins started off very aggressive in the matchup. Started off very aggressive, and he used his jab a lot, used his footwork a lot, and Jean Pascal did fight in some spurts. He did fight in spurts, but I did give the round to Pascal 10-8, though the knockdown was a shot that that was a little behind the head. It was behind the head, and Pascal came forward. Hopkins came forward. He was hit behind the head and went through the ropes. I did give the round to Pascal. It was 10-8, though you could score it 10-9. If depending on what you're looking for. Second round, I did give to Bernard Hopkins. I gave it to Bernard Hopkins because he was aggressive. Another round that could have gone either way on the scorecards. Hopkins was slowly kind of trying to dissect Pascal. He was slowly dissecting them, and he was landing the hook off the jab, left hook, landing the jab. He was coming forward a little bit more, and using the jab a whole lot to set up different things, set up the shots to the body, because the little shots to the body were taking effect to Pascal. Third round did get to Pascal. That was a legit knockdown off of the left hand when Hopkins was on the ropes. He didn't really defend himself from it, and Pascal did hit him with the left hook. I believe it was a left hook or looping left shot, and Hopkins went down off of that shot. So I did give that round to Pascal 10-8, legitimately. And not only that, though, Pascal was having some pretty good spurts in the round. Round 4, that's when Hopkins started to get strong. He started to really take control of the matchup. Round 4, I did give to Hopkins. I gave round 4 to Hopkins, based on ring generalship. He came forward with the jab, pressed the action, and used the jab a whole lot. Went to the body, and he started to go. And the attack to the body was more aggressive than any other round. And as you saw later on in the fight, that aggression to the body, the aggressive attack to the body, whether they be subtle shots or not, were very effective for Bernard Hopkins. So I did give that round to Bernard Hopkins. Round 5 I gave to Bernard Hopkins, though it was a swing round. It was a swing round, but I did give round 5 to Bernard Hopkins. I gave Bernard Hopkins that round based on, it was, and I guess, he was landing the cleaner shots within the exchanges. So I did give that round to Bernard Hopkins. I gave 6 to Bernard Hopkins, being the ring general. 7 to Bernard Hopkins, ring generalship. In that round, you start to see Pascal slow down a little bit more within that round. So I did give that round to Bernard Hopkins. Round 8, I did give to Pascal. I gave round 8 to Pascal. Pascal did land occasional uppercuts within exchanges, so I did give round 8 to Pascal. Round 9 I gave to Hopkins, round 10 I gave to Hopkins, 11 I gave to Hopkins, and 12 I gave to Hopkins. Really, to be quite honest, with round 5 I did score it a 10-10 round. I scored round 5 a 10-10 round. I scored a 10-10 round because both fighters were getting, they're getting pretty good shots off on each other, and and both fighters were pretty much throwing the same amount of shots I did. So that's how I kind of had that 8-4 effect in the fight, is that 5th round. And to explain the later stages of the fight, because I'm not going to go and leave that uncovered, the later stages of the fight, Hopkins controlled the matchup. And he came forward, he threw all kinds of shots, he went to the body, he was aggressive, and he came forward. He knew that he needed either a knockdown or a knockout to win the fight. So Hopkins, he came forward and pressed the action in the later stages of the fight. Pascal seemed to have slowed down. Hopkins' shots to the body were really taking effect. If you look at the body language of Pascal, Pascal was starting to back up when Hopkins was landing shots to the body. And I did score the last round to Hopkins because Hopkins was getting off first in the later stages of the fight. He was getting off first. He was throwing a lot of hooks, going to the body a little bit. He was more of a headhunter in the early stages of the fight. I think that Pascal would have slowed down a little bit more if Hopkins would have maintained the body attack. Something to look at in the fight that both fighters were doing. Both fighters, in the early stages of the fight, Bernard Hopkins was using the right glove very well to take the jab away. So Pascal was having trouble using his jab because Hopkins pretty much taking it away. There's 3 ways that Hopkins took Pascal's jab away. One, he rolled the jab. He rolled the shot. If you look closely at the fight, Pascal, if you look subtly, Pascal's throwing his jab. Hopkins is either rolling the punch or he's moving. He's moving laterally from the punch, or he's using the jab to block it. He took the jab away. Look at the Dawson fight. Dawson had no way to take his jab away. That's something to look at in the fight. Hopkins used a lot of movement, and he slowly tried to dissect Jean Pascal. Me, I had Bernard Hopkins winning this fight. I had Bernard Hopkins winning this fight clearly by a point or two, but at the same time there were some swing rounds in there. So really, to be quite honest, I don't really see a way of Pascal winning the fight. But it's a hometown fight. You got the hometown fighter, and with the hometown fighter is always going to win. So I understand the way that the scorecards went. But me, I had Bernard Hopkins winning this matchup by at least a point or two. I didn't add up the points, but at least a point or two I had Hopkins winning the fight. But anyway, guys, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good holiday. Peace.